hard and late. I'll call the regular monthly meeting of the Johnson County Fiscal Court order at this time. First item is pledge of allegiance. Commissioner Gamble, will you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is the approval of the minutes. I think you've got the minutes before you. Are there any suggested changes, corrections, or amendments to the minutes as presented?
Move to approve as presented.
Have a motion by Commissioner Daniel to approve the minutes of the regular monthly meeting on October the 10th as presented.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Gamble. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Next item is the approval of monthly bills. I think you have a copy of the bills in your packet, except you had a file, I think, with a few, bills that came in before the meeting. Is there any questions or comments about the bills? Hattie, is there anything extraordinary about the bills?
No, that is usual, Judge.
Standard cost of doing business looks like.
Make a motion to approve the monthly bill as presented.
I have a motion by Commissioner Adams to approve the monthly bills for payment.
I'll second the motion.
Second by Commissioner Daniel. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Next item, transfers for the fiscal court. We have the standard monthly transfer that we do every month for $40,000 transfer of funds from the general fund to the jail fund. I generally make a speech about this every month, but in the interest of time, and I know the press probably got another meeting they need to get to, and our video people do the same thing. I'll forego my speech, and I'll just make one next month, make it twice as long as that. So, I make it fun, but keep from crying on me, because the jail fund is one of the largest bills we've got. And it takes, as I've mentioned here before, it takes almost every cent of taxpayers' money that we get. The county's piece, our share, is about $500,000 a year, and we transfer about $500-some thousand a year from the general fund to our jail fund. So it takes almost every dime of taxpayers' money that we get from property taxes just to pay that jail bill.
Our bill this month is only $55,800.
Pardon?
I said the bill this month is only $55,800.
Yeah, $55,000 what the bill was this month, Court. Maybe it was a good year or a good month, I don't know. But it's not easy, and there's a lot of counties that are suffering right now, and there's some issues out there right now with the jail bills that a couple of counties can't pay, and the problem is the law don't give you the option. The law says we must pay those bills, and that's what we're trying to do here, and we'll continue to do so. Having said all that, I'll entertain a motion to make that transfer.
Make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Gamble,
Second.
second by Commissioner Daniel. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item is the sheriff has an amendment to his budget that he's proposing. The sheriff has unbudgeted receipts from 2 or 3 different sources here. Lake Patrol contract, August through September. That's $8,230 coming into his budget. Bond restitution, there's $28 in bond restitution. Returning fugitives from, that they have to go out of state and pick up and bring back are reimbursed by the state for that. That's $1,000.19. And the Unite Coalition grant is $743.20. So they're proposing to amend their budget by $10,001.89 and to move that from Lake Patrol bond restitution, returning fugitive Unite Coalition into a line item 501-5481, which is uniforms, $5,000 of that $10,000 number comes for uniforms. Postage, $300. Training benefits and convention, $2,000. Police equipment and supplies, $1,701.89. And office equipment and supplies, $1,000, which evens out at $10,101 or $10,001.89. Any questions about the amendment to the sheriff's budget? Not, I think a motion's in order.
Make a motion to accept the sheriff's commission.
I have a motion, I need a second. And a second by Commissioner Daniel. Any other discussion? If not, all in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. As I said before, I know the press has got some other important meeting to cover. There's kind of the changing of the guard, I think, going on at the City Hall right now, or in this next meeting. So to try to speed this up a little bit, rather than open all 29 of those bids right now, I'm going to move those down to the end of the agenda. So if anybody that needs to leave, I guess they can go ahead and do that at that time. Next item is the Johnson County Housing Authority Board appointment. So we have a letter from Doug Van Hoos, the chairman of the Housing Authority. He recommends Robin Blanton be reappointed. Her term expires in November of this year, which is on the cusp right now of expiring. She's been on the board since 2008. She's done a good job, and they are recommending her for reappointment, and I hereby reappoint her at this time. I would hope that the court could authorize that and confirm that appointment in the form of a motion to that effect.
So moved.
Motion, I need a second. And a second by Commissioner Adams. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, County Road 1203R, amend the distance. Some time ago, 10 years ago or so, the county was approached by the developer out of Cross Creek asking us to take in Easy Street as part of the county maintained road system. They presented a map, a plat map of all the property in that subdivision on that street, and the plat map was filed in the court. And when they started, we told them that one of the things they had to do, they had to install additional drainage, and then they had to blacktop the street and put it in the same kind of order it would be if we were doing that blacktopping before we could consider adopting the road. They did that. As a matter of fact, when we went out to adopt the road after that blacktop, we kind of, I guess, we did not go look at the plat map and measure it exactly. I think we assumed the developer said he would blacktop it and the end of the street would be where it was supposed to stop. But when it became blacktop, we noticed in the last couple of months when there were some issues with regard to a piece of property, that the blacktop extended 138 feet further than what it was shown on the plat map, further than it was supposed to. And we, in effect, had been inadvertently maintaining 138 feet of street that we should not have. We go back and talk to the developer, and he says, well, yeah, he didn't know how it happened either. Whether it was his fault, our fault, contractor's fault, the street was too long and we needed to correct that. We had already and have already adopted that street into the county system. Now it's a matter of us trying to take the plat map and take the amount that was street that was originally intended and make that measurement onto the end of the street and back off 138 feet that was on there that we're not going to be attending anymore. And we've sent letters. We've had 2 different type of surveys, I think, out there on the property from Boco's Engineering. We've spoken to the developer. We've spoken to the property owners that live there, the 2 additional property owners that live there, the Easteps and the Robinettes, I guess. And they've indicated as long as it does not encumber their property any or bleed over onto their property, they don't have any problem with it. And we've been assured by the engineers and the mapping that they've done and the engineering that they've done that there is no encumbrances or encroachment on any other piece of property. So tonight, I think what we're going to do is ask for a motion to amend the distance of Easy Street to the east to coincide with the measurement of the plat map and the intended distance to begin with. And you've all been in other discussion of that. We've had conversations with the county attorney, and I think that is the way that we've already adopted the road. It's just a matter now of adjusting the distance and making sure we're doing it the right way. Any comments or questions?
Judge, I'd rather wait until the cul-de-sac is installed and completed before we
Absolutely.
amend the distance.
And they understand that. Well, that's part of the deal of, upon their construction of the cul-de-sac at the original place that they intended, then we will adopt it in, and we'll just continue the other portion. So that's part of the deal is, once they do it, we're ready for them to get it done and give us a call. What, their timetable will be up to them. So you want to make a motion contingent upon that being done? Is that we?
I'd just rather wait until the cul-de-sac is done and then we'll take care of it.
That's good enough. You want to make that in the form of a motion? We'll defer the actual final approval of that until such time as the cul-de-sac is complete. Hey, can I have a motion on that? That's your motion? Second? Okay, I got a second. Commissioner Adams, any other discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item, the coroner approached me the other day, said that his van is getting some age on it. It's got quite a bit of mileage on it, and it's, I guess, unfortunately, in some of the cleaning fluids and things that they use in that kind of business and the nature of work, it's pretty corrosive, and it kind of eats away at some of the metal and so forth. And he submitted 2 repair quotes, one from Mac's Body Shop and one from Blair's Body Shop, to that would cover the expenses. The quote from Mike's Body Shop is $5,104.24. The quote from Blair's Body Shop is $7,469.05. What's the pleasure of the court with regard to the upgrade of the van, the coroner's van?
So you seem to think the van is in good operating condition otherwise?
He said that that's, according to our conversation, and he says that he thinks that if they had the back doors and a coat of paint and some other trim that's specified in your quote, he says he thinks that would do fine for quite some time.
Well, I move we approve the bid of $51.
Have a motion to accept the quote from Mike's Body Shop to do the repairs to the coroner's van.
Second.
What was the price on that?
$5,104.
What's that?
$5,104.
The other one, Don, was, the other bid, Blair's Body Shop, was $7,469.
Okay.
I'm going to go through these next two items. That's all I've got on other. I'm going through these next two items, and then we'll take questions from the floor.
Have you second that?
Oh, I'm sorry.
She was asking.
We didn't vote on that?
No.
Okay, Kathy seconded. I need a vote. All in favor, signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Next item under other, I had a letter from Johnson County Extension Council. They have recommended 2 people to serve on their, or actually they need 2 people. They've recommended 4. They say all 4 people are qualified to serve. Their procedure policy manuals provide that they will make the recommendation, and then I will, as county judge, select 2 people from the list that they present to me. Having checked and verified that all these people are, in fact, qualified for the job, I hereby appoint Denise Castle and Harold Burton to serve on that board of the Johnson County Extension District Board to fill those vacancies beginning January 1, 2017. I would ask for a motion to confirm those appointments.
I make a motion to accept.
Motion by Commissioner Adams to confirm the appointment of Denise Castle and Harold Burton.
Second.
And a second by Commissioner Daniel. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item, we have Bob back here in the back, Bob Pack with Paintsville Utilities. We met recently with Bob and his staff and Big Sandy Area Development District to go through and try to look at the various water and wastewater ranking projects that they've got several going on, and some of them are fairly imminent, and some of them are going to be pushed back down the road. It's kind of a temporary thing. There's no way to really know what's going to be funded and when they can do everything. But to keep up with the process, you have to have a ranking system, and we went through that. When was that, Bob? Last Wednesday or something? I believe it was Wednesday. And went through and tentatively ranked those. Whenever when we come back and those things are ready to move up a ladder and be money be spent and committed and so forth, we'll come back and ask the court to confirm that. But at the present time, go ahead and let's use those rankings that you have presented already. Okay? And we do appreciate what they're trying to do, and we're still waiting, by the way, on our Van Leer project. The project has been approved. The only thing we're waiting on is a revised, Mike, you have everything else wrong, have you, on the contract? We're waiting on a revised memorandum of agreement, MOA, that we have sent back and we needed some changes on. I've got meetings this week in Louisville, and hopefully the finance cabinet and wastewater treatment will be there. So I'm going to try to get some movement on that if I can, Bob. So hopefully let you know as soon as we find out something. But that's all we're waiting on is the MOA. Now, we have one item that I need to get rid of, and then we have a young lady, I think, yes, I see, that wants to speak to the court, and since that's an opening of bids, that's going to take up a little bit of time. So if you guys need to bail on the bid opening on this other stuff, feel free. That's your project. It's not, we're not going to feel hard at you if you do. But rather than opening those right now, if you could be very quickly, fellas, and explain to us what the airbag proposal is.
Hello, everyone. Honorable Judge. My name is Elaine Manning. I am currently working with Yanez base. I also am working with the West Liberty base, Morgan County base of AREVAC. I'm here today. For 30 years, AREVAC has been serving rural America, and there have been many changes over the years, and we're proud that we continue to grow as a company and increase our coverage areas. For the past year alone, we've added 20 more bases to our coverage areas, giving us 260 bases across 32 states. AREVAC operates the world's largest fleet of Bell helicopters, with over 130 medically equipped 206 Long Rangers aircraft in operation today. Our mission is simple: to provide increased access to quality health care for rural communities while providing unmatched patient care during transport. AREVAC believes that those who live in rural areas should have access to the same quality of health care as those who choose to live in big cities. AREVAC has grown to 125 mutually supported bases in 15 states. And with our AirMed Care Network affiliation, we provide communities and members increased coverage from over 260 bases across 32 states. Each AREVAC base is deeply involved with the community it serves, and we select our flight crews from the area's best pilots, nurses, and paramedics, which allows for a deep understanding of the community and provides the highest level of patient care. AREVAC participates in various community events throughout Johnson County, such as LZ training for local fire departments and public relations events at local businesses. We also provide continuous education to our first responders and healthcare providers through our educational outreach program. This valuable educational process provides a cost-effective alternative to certification and recertification, and almost all of our classes are absolutely free of charge. Ladies and gentlemen, the County of Johnson is growing, and AREVAC is growing with you. As a county, I'm certain you are deeply committed to providing the means for which current as well as new residents and businesses continue to enjoy an improved way of life. For the last 30 years, AREVAC has partnered with counties, cities, and businesses to provide a cost-effective alternative to the increasingly high cost of health care. Your AREVAC Johnson County agreement will provide that opportunity and keep those hard-earned dollars here in the county where they belong. In the past year, there have been 29 flights out of here with AREVAC alone. That's not including other flights that have gone out of the county. With 29 AREVAC transports, that amounts to about $750,000 that could have been kept here in the county. Now, on October 9th, 2013, Tyler County signed and put into effect their agreement with AirEvac, and on November 6, 2013, Pleasants County activated their AirEvac countywide coverage plan, and 60 days later, Wetzel County jumped on board and covered their residents. Now, also, Prestonsburg and the City of Allen have also signed agreements with us, as well as Johnson County and the City of Frenchburg. I'm sorry, I mean Jackson, Kentucky, and the City of Frenchburg. Since that time, there have been numerous flights flown out of each of these counties, and the residents flown suffered no expense for their transport in their medical emergency. The examples used here illustrate how valuable a plan is to your county and its residents. It's at this time I would like to submit to the fiscal court a county-wide coverage plan for your review and approval. And I'd also like to open up the floor to any questions.
Elaine, I'd like to ask, if we agree to this proposal, does this in essence give you an exclusive franchise for Johnson County to move all evac patients, or?
Well, we would certainly hope that we would have to go and speak with the hospital, of course, and have them on board with us, the fire departments, the 911 dispatchers, make sure everyone knows that the county is covered by AirEvac, so it's advantageous that they call us. Because if they're flown by Air Methods, they're going to be billed by Air Methods.
Right now, do you know how many operators are making these trips out for evacuation purposes? And how many people are coming in and out of Johnson County?
Well, this past year, 29 have been flown by Air
By you
Methods.
guys, yeah, but
Yes.
how many others, are there
There's
two, three, four more
Air
flight
Methods,
services?
Air Methods is the only other one besides us in this area. Air Methods,
Air Methods.
yes.
It says here for fees, Johnson County will pay the Medicare network a total of $82,679 a year.
Yes, and that breaks down to an amount of $12.50 per resident. So you're looking at about just shy of 7,000 residents. Now, those are eligible residents. Those that are not on Medicaid or already covered. Now, for people who have already taken the membership with us, they're already AirEvac members, when they get ready to upgrade, they would have the option of upgrading their entire household for an additional $35 a year for the full plan. Because if you'll look at this, this is a limited plan that covers them if they're picked up in Johnson County. So it's a limited plan. For $35 as a resident of Johnson County, you can upgrade your entire household and have the full coverage of 32 states and 260 bases.
But according to your contract, the fiscal court will be obligated to pay you the $82,000.
Yes, and that's renewable each year.
So that would be, the court would have to make a determination, and we were going to pick this tab up and continue to pick this tab up. And even though we have no control over who takes it, who don't want it, we have no control at all over forcing somebody.
Well, you wouldn't have to force anyone.
Yeah, as
They
long
would
as we
be
pay.
covered, they would be covered as long as they're picked up here.
Yeah,
If they choose to purchase the $35 upgrade, then that will give them the full coverage of all of our bases across all the 32 states.
well, was there something about $60 or $65 we talked about the other day?
$65 is the regular rate, but as a county, you are getting a greatly discounted rate of $12.50 per person. So if just a regular person off the street wanted to buy a membership, it would be $65 a year. Now, as a resident of Johnson County, if you want to upgrade, it's only $35. So that's almost half the price of a regular membership because of what I'm asking the fiscal court to do tonight. So as you can see, it's a great benefit to be able to provide this
Well, it's kind of a little quid pro quo there. It's a great benefit for you people too, to have us pay $82,000 up front.
But the reason we are in business is because we have 2.6 million members across the U.S. And as a member, you're protected from those high costs of the medical supplies. So instead of being responsible for $25,000 to $40,000, if one of your residents has to be flown tomorrow and you sign tonight, they're going to be covered from that.
What's an average flight for Johnson County, let's say, since you did how many of them last month or last year?
It was, what did I say, 29 last year.
Okay, and you said the total cost was $750,000.
That's taking the average price of $25,000 a flight. Now, the average flight cost varies from $25,000 to $40,000, depending on where you're flown to and what they have to do while you're in transport.
What about, it's not an issue.
So 25,000 is the minimum charge, you're saying?
Yes, that's the average cost.
What does the average health insurance, people that have health insurance,
We accept what the insurance pays as payment in full.
and what is that payment that they authorize normally, you know?
It averages between $7,000 and $13,000, leaving the rest to the person. Because even if you've got a good 80-20 policy, they will pay 80% of what they deem to be appropriate. And everybody knows, insurances can decide any amount is appropriate or not appropriate.
Just like you guys can do the same thing. Make sure you can come back and say, our rates are going up to $182,000.
Bill, can you expand on that a little bit?
I'm sorry, what was the question, sir?
About the prices of the flights?
She said insurance companies can set a rate as high as they want. And I said, well, technically you guys could too. You started with 82, but you can come in next year or whatever the terms are. I haven't looked at the terms here. First time I've seen the contract. You can come in and say, well, instead of 82,000 for next year, you owe us 182,000.
Okay, sir, as far as I can remember, it's been a very minimal cost. It's not been a large upgrade on cost for any of the programs that's going. The Logan area, I think it was within $5,000 difference for the Logan, West Virginia base, if I'm not mistaken. That was the only change in the price from one year to the next. It's a very, very minimal price of any, and it's just from inflation.
Well, I got to admit, I kind of got off target on this thing when we had our discussion the other day. I thought that you guys were asking for permission to come into Johnson County, which you don't really need. But I thought you were talking about coming in and trying to sign up individual residents. What you're asking is for us to pay the tab up front, and
then the residents are not responsible for the full amount. Because if you do the $12.50 per resident, they can do the upgrade for only $35, which is almost half the price for the residents.
yeah, but that's $82,000 minimum that we have to find someplace.
But then that's going to keep all of the money here if the residents have to be flown.
What do you mean?
The money that would have been spent on a flight can be used for this county. To spend their money in the county instead of spending it on an unnecessary bill.
I don't know of any bills the county's received up till now.
A flight bill for someone who's in a medical emergency.
I don't think we've ever paid any, we've never had to pay anything on a flight bill.
I think what she's trying to say is that instead of that money that the patient, the bill that they would incur, they would have that money to stay in circulation here in the county, rather than being spent on a medical bill.
Well, I tell you, there's an awful lot of issues here that you've raised that I apologize to the court for not being better able to explain this. But at no time did I remember a contract being offered that would require us to pay these bills up front, and I certainly think that's something we need to talk to our attorney about, too, with regard to other aspects of the bill. And I think some of your explanation makes some sense, and I scratch my head on some of the others. To tell somebody that if they use the medevac thing and we pay for it, then they're gonna have money in their pocket to spend here locally. I've never heard an analogy like that before. But that's just me. I mean,
Well, you will also see in each of your folders, there are letters from commissioners from other counties that have done this, saying how much they appreciated it and how much it has done for their county.
I'm sure, and obviously those counties aren't worried about 100,000 or even more, the bigger counties, more populous counties. But that's a pretty good bite that we've got to take, and we've never provided, quote, medical care of any type for residents of Johnson County. I don't know that, and I don't know of any county, you say you got counties up there in East Kentucky that's doing this now?
Yes, Prestonburg and Allen,
City?
yes, city.
Also Clay and Owsley counties.
There's a lot about this that I don't understand, and I'm gonna sit down and talk to Gary and of course commissioners. I'm sure they got issues that, but if they've got whatever comments you got now, guys, feel free to jump in. But let me say this, I'm just not ready to recommend this yes or no
Well,
tonight.
I would be glad to sit down and talk with you further about this if you have any questions after the meeting.
I don't think after the meeting would be appropriate, because I want to get Gary McClure, emergency management director, in here, and I want to touch base with some of these other, how long has this been in place? How long have you guys had this?
30 years,
Here in Eastern Kentucky?
not here. We started in West Plains, Missouri 30 years ago, back in 1985.
How long have you been in Kentucky doing this?
We have been at our base for over 2 years, and I believe, if I'm correct, Bill, is it 3?
3, yes. But we have several bases. We have 13 bases in Kentucky, sir.
Okay.
What is the cost for an individual to purchase a plan?
$65 a year. We also have 3, 5, and 10-year plans and 25-year plans.
So if somebody wanted to call you tomorrow and say, I'll give you $65. You give me this coverage, would you do that?
Yes, certainly.
Okay.
And that covers everyone in the household, not just that individual.
Yes, that's not an individual rate. That covers
I'm not talking about that, that's part of, yes, Virginia.
I was just curious, what if there's a visitor in Johnson County, they're just passing through here and they're in an accident and they're airlifted? Are they covered just because the accident was in Johnson County?
No.
So only
Johnson County
residents?
has to be there.
So how do they prove their residency?
It would go by their address.
Yes, when it goes to the billing department, whenever they put in the zip code, anything that's in the Johnson County zip code will automatically be put into that category. Anything else will go into a different.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Personally, like I said, I've got some pretty serious issues in my own mind. And I'm not ready at this time to recommend it. You guys,
3 year and 5 year plan, as you say, is it cheaper if you purchase 3 years and 5 years?
It does, if you look on the inside of your folder, you'll see the different rates. And then, now, the 1 year starts at 65, the 3 is 185, and the 5 is 575, the 5 is 300, and the 10 is 575.
any other questions? Elaine, I think, unless somebody's got any other questions, I think we need to table this matter and we can talk to Gary and get our own heads together again, and then we'll invite you back to explain this further, okay?
I'll be glad to answer any questions later on as well.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
item, guys, is the opening of bids on surplus equipment. And I understand that we have 29 bids, the largest by far of any projects that we've ever bid before.